Whoa, cricket junkie. Whoa, cricket junkie. Whoa, cricketjunkie.com.
Hi Cricket Junkies, it's Tracy. I wanted to share my new Spellbinders Platinum die cutting machine with you today. Let me show you this. It's kind of big, so it's kind of hard to maneuver, but I hope you can see it. This machine I purchased probably about less than a month ago, and I've been playing with it to see if I like it, because my Cuttlebug was on the blink. For whatever reason, well, actually my Cuttlebug is just old. I bought it in like '08 or '09, so my roller stopped working and I was having a lot of problems with it. And I was in denial, didn't want to give it up, so I ended up having to get rid of it, and I had to buy a new machine. So I found this machine. I did a little research first, and because I looked at the Sizzix, and then I found some other stuff. I stumbled upon the Grand Caliber, I think it was, which is by Spellbinders, and that had such bad reviews. This one was the newest one, the Platinum. So I said, let me try this out. And actually, I saw an awesome review by a lady on YouTube. Her name's Amanda, and her YouTube channel, it is Lolly Lulu Crafts. And if you check her out, she did an awesome review on this, and actually that's what sold me, because as I started looking around on the web and on videos, I didn't find a lot of reviews for this machine. I just found Spellbinders doing reviews at the CHA shows and things like that. So there was no YouTube users, no actual real people using the machine doing the reviews. So I just wanted to share my experience with this machine, and I actually like it. And I'm going to go through some of the pros and cons with the machine. I'm going to move some of the stuff out the way. Now I'm kind of, my video, the way I'm videoing, because this thing is kind of, is large, I'm going to try to stay in frame, but if I am not, forgive me. The first thing I really liked about this machine is that it was compact. And you know, with the Sizzix machine, you know, it takes up a lot of desk space. And since I was looking for something that is 8.5 by 11 versus the 6-inch that you get on the Cuttlebug, I thought the Sizzix would work. But since you can't fold it, and I wanted to leave it on my desk, that didn't work for me. So that's one of the things I liked about this machine. Let me open it. As you hear, it's actually pretty loud when you open it. I don't know what's up with that. I mean, that may be something they may want to fix or look at. And then my other thing with the Cuttlebug, you know, when you open the Cuttlebug, the suction at the bottom, it attaches to your tabletop. Well, this machine, there's no suction at the bottom. So you're really just depending on, there's two little rubber bumps here, one on this side and then one on this side. So that's what you're depending on to keep it sturdy. And it seems to be okay. It's not like the Cuttlebug. You know, of course, I'm partial to that, but it's not like the Cuttlebug as far as suction. But it does stay sturdy. It's kind of moving around right now because I'm on a mat, but for the most part, it stays sturdy. And then you have your little handle, your little carrying handle. Now, I do have to say, it's pretty heavy. It's like 25 or 30 pounds versus I think the Cuttlebug is like 8 or 9 or something like that. But it's really, really heavy and sturdy. There's a nice handle on it. Let me turn it around so you can see it. There's a nice handle on it, and I mean, it really cranks. And you have a lot of space too for your hand. So if you have a larger hand, I thought that was good too. So let me turn it back this way. And again, here, this is what it looks like from the front. And it's pretty compact once it's folded. Okay, let me open it. There it is, loud. It's pretty loud, like I said. Far as your cutting area, it is 8.5 across here, so that's great. And it does come with the magnetic, no, it didn't come with magnetic, scratch that. It comes with the actual platform, and the platform, one of the things I did like about the platform that the Cuttlebug doesn't have is it shows you what sandwich to use what dyes to use, what embossing folder you should use, or embossing plate. I like that because sometimes with the Cuttlebug, it used to get confusing. You know, I had to write everything down to try to remember. But with this, you don't have to because it actually tells you step by step. So if I'm going to just use a regular, like this one is how to build a wafer thin die sandwich. So if I'm just using a wafer thin die, like a Simon Says die, or, you know, a Lawn Fawn or something like that, it shows you that. So those to me are the wafer thin dies. Now this machine does use those large dies as well, like the Tim Holtz and the Spellbinders, those really thick dies that you can cut fabric and tin and things like that, which I don't do, so I don't have any use for that. But that's, I think, what this machine was built on. But again, I don't use those, at least not yet, so I haven't experienced that yet. But it did come with this large mat. Now, the con to this is that it comes with large mats, but it comes with small plates. So there is an extra large plate that goes with this machine, but it doesn't come with the machine. I'm thinking, how stupid is that? Who would make a machine this size and the purpose of it is to have a large area to cut, and you don't include the cutting platform, the cutting mat? I thought that was pretty dumb, but again, it didn't stop me from buying it, so I guess I can't say much. But it did come with two small ones, and these are like the regular 8.5 by 11, or 8.5 size, I think it is. Yeah, 8.5 size. So it came with two. Now I bought this machine from scrapbook.com. Okay, they had it advertised for $169. So I went on and I purchased it. Now in the description on scrapbook.com, it stated that this machine does come with an extra large plate that is not with the machine, but scrapbook.com was giving it to you for free if you purchase this. So once you purchase it, it should be in your cart. Well, when I purchased it, it wasn't in the cart. So I sent them an email, and then the next day they contacted me and told me that, you know, they no longer had that going on. I don't know what happened with that, but they did give me a $25 credit, which I thought was great, and they did it right away. So good, you know, they have great customer service, at least my experience with them. So overall, I ended up paying like $140 something for the machine, just for that reason. And as I'm going through, I'm not really sure. I may not even need the extra long mat. If I find later on that I do, I can always go in and purchase it separate. One thing I did purchase separate, and this was one of my largest reasons of buying one of these machines, was the magnetic platform. Because now when I use dies, you know, as all of us, if you don't have a magnetic platform, and on the Cuttlebug there's not one, at least not that I know of, you have to use washi tape or some type of tape to tape your dies down. And I got tired of doing that. So I did find this magnetic platform from, I bought this from Create Craft for Less for $25. And their website is createcraftforless.com. And shipping was quick, 25 bucks. You know, I thought that was a good deal because I saw them on the web for like 32, different prices, but this was the cheapest one I found, and I actually like it. And again, it's the 8.5 size. So that was one of my biggest cons, was why would they sell this machine with such a large platform, huge platform, but you don't have the plate to go with the platform. That was pretty dumb. And then it also came with embossing plate, I guess for deep embossing, which I'm not really familiar with that. And then it came with a tan embossing plate too, if you need to shim something. So you get quite a few things with it. I mean, that wasn't bad, but I just still think you should have gotten a long plate. So let me move this off the way. My other con that I was not happy with was, I've only been using this machine, I say about a month, if that. And if you look at my mat, I've been using it. I've been playing with it. But if you look here, look at my plates. They're really warped. I mean, they are really, really warped. They're warped so bad till now I'm at the point where I am still having to take my dies down. So that was defeating the purpose. So I'm not happy about that. If you look at, here's my Cuttlebug mats. Now I've had my Cuttlebug since, like I said, probably 08 or 09. And these are my original mats for my Cuttlebug. But if you look at these mats, or these platform plates, look, this is all I have on the warping. And this is over years and years of use. So, but I noticed too, density-wise, the Cuttlebug plates are a lot thicker than the Spellbinders. You know, you may not be able to tell when you look at it this way, but far as density, I mean, these Cuttlebug mats are a lot thicker. So that was my other con. But again, not a deal breaker. I did go on YouTube and I found where some of the ladies were putting their plates in hot water and in the oven. I don't know about the oven. I may try hot water to see if I can bend them back. Yeah, but I'll try that and see. Now, my one issue I had with this is I love how it cuts. And I'm gonna cut something real quick. I mean, it's really, really, the rollers on this thing is awesome. It cuts great. Let me turn this way. So here's just a regular die. And these are Spellbinders dies too. Yeah. These are the Spellbinders. The card creator dies with all the decoration, and I like these dies for albums. So I'm going to put this on here. I'll show you how. And one thing I noticed too is, you see how this magnet is? I don't know if you can see this. Now I don't have a plate on here, and it's just awesome. It holds great. So now I'm going to put the plate on, and I have to try to work around which plate is not warped in order for it to stay, because it doesn't hold very well if it's warped. So now I'm going to turn it this way and see if I can get it to work. And you see how it rocks? So when I put it here, it kind of rocks a little bit. So then I'll switch up and see if maybe this one works. And I turn it this way. This one rocks too. I don't know. It's kind of frustrating. So needless to say, sometimes I still end up, I've had to tape it down until I fix these. See how this, so now it depends on where my magnet is. I don't know. It could be a fix for this. It's just, I don't know yet, but you see how it just moved it? So now I have to move my paper around to find a magnet, make sure it's in the right place. But once I do that, it cuts great. So I'll turn it this way. See how I can, see how much space is in between there. And it's, I noticed too, the Spellbinders die, and it could be because my platform is warped. It's pretty tight, and sometimes I feel like I'm going to break it, but it doesn't break, but it's just tight. But then here's your cut. I mean, you get an awesome clean cut. And I've cut 2 up to 3 sheets with one of these dies, and it actually worked. So if you're making pockets or something like that, you can always put your designer paper on. I've done that. I put the designer paper on, did the pocket. I did it all at the same time, and it cut through. I think I ran it through twice though, but it did cut through, and it was a clean cut. So again, it's really clean. I love how it cuts. It's just I'm having issues with the warping, and and that was the purpose of having the magnetic platform, so I didn't have that problem. Okay, now let's look. Okay, let's look at the Cuttlebug folders, or the embossing folders. Now typically I use whatever I can find. I like Sizzix, and actually I got these from Stampin' Up, so I like the Sizzix, and of course I use Cuttlebug, and this one is a Paper Studio. So what I've done is I've been playing around with them to see which one cuts the best, or embosses the best, I should say, because with this machine I didn't have any Spellbinders embossing folders, so this is all that I had. So you need some type of a shim to make these work. So let me show you real quick. So I have, and I'm going to go ahead and leave my magnetic mat here. Let me just grab a sheet of paper, and we're going to look at this is a Cuttlebug. So let's look at this one first. I'll just stick this in here. I'll put this here. Put my warp mat down. And then I'll just run this through. And as you see, if you run it through without a shim, it doesn't cut at all. So let's do this. Now what I use as my shim, and this is what I found that works best for me. You may find something else, that's up to you. But I played around with different cardstock, and I found that this is paper tray ink paper. You know, it's pretty thick. I think this is like 110-pound paper. So I found that 2 sheets worked pretty well as a shim with this. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the 2 sheets on there. Get my warp mat, and then I'm going to run this through. And let's see how this came out. And look, comes out nice. I hope you can see that with the lighting. So that's with the Cuttlebug. And then I noticed too, I guess every mat or every embossing folder is different. You know, it depends on the maker. Some plastic is a lot thicker than others, and which I didn't realize that till I started playing with this. Now this one is the Paper Studio, and this is like that wood grain, so it's pretty deep. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. I mean, the embossing on this one is pretty deep, so we'll see how this one cuts. Again, oh, it might help if I put the shims in, huh? I'm just so focused on the warped cutting plates, I can't think of anything else. It's just irritating me. But it's not a deal breaker. So let's run this through and see how this works. Let's see. Pretty good. Actually, it's nice. Very nice. But sometimes with this folder or the wood grain folder, sometimes if it's too hard, you see here how you have a little bit of white, it'll cut through the paper, especially if this is a white core paper, which this is. But it came out pretty good. So that's a good one. So that's the Paper Studio. And then the last one, let's try the Sizzix. I'll do it this way since there's a lot of embossing on the top. And this, again, this is a thick one. This is actually the Stampin' Up folder. Don't forget my shims this time. Here's my 2 shims. Then my warped plate. See, now this is a little tighter than the other 2 when I ran it through the machine. So again, that's what I was saying, is some of the embossing folders are a little thicker than others. And this is, see how this came through? Because this is a white core paper. You see how thick this is? But the embossing is really, really nice. So this may be one. Let's try this one with, this may be a folder where I can just use one shim. And again, it depends on what you like. You know, I kind of play around with this stuff and see what works best. Let me see if it's this way. Get my warped plate. Let's run it through. So now it's not as tight. And here you go. It's not as tight, and you notice the embossing is not as thick, although it's nice, but it's not as thick as this one. So this one was 2 sheets of cardstock, and this was 1. And again, I'm using the cardstock from Paper Tray Ink, the 110 pound. So I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. I can actually use this because I can go over this with maybe some ink, and with the white areas, the raised white areas, it'll look nice. So I'll save this and use this. And then you can use this one too. It depends on, you know, what you're making. Even on the debossed side, and the debossed side is really nice too. So overall, I'm happy with the machine. Again, just, you know, a few little pet peeves, things that I'm accustomed to with the Cuttlebug. You know, and this matte warping thing is really irritating me. It's not a deal breaker because I have the machine, so there's nothing I can do about it, but I'm going to soak them in some hot water and see if I can get them to work correctly, because, you know, using the magnetic platform with the die was the whole purpose of getting this, and the fact that it actually closes up and it's pretty compact. And I like it because I just leave it on my desk, on my scrapbook desk, and then when I'm ready to scrapbook, I just open it. It just, if it's at night and everybody's asleep, it's so loud when you open it. Oh my gosh, does it need WD-40 or something? That's the only thing that's, I'm like, what the heck? It's almost like the old Cricut used to be really, really loud, and I used to hate to scrapbook at night. I have to close my scrapbook door because it's making so much noise. But now with the Explorer, I don't have that problem. But that's a different story. But that's it for me today, guys. I just wanted to share that. Overall, I'm really, really happy with the machine. Like I said, there's not very many reviews out there, at least none that I've seen. So I definitely would say go to Lolly's page, and again, her name's Amanda, and it's Lolly Lulu Crafts. Go over there and check hers out. She does a great review as well. Okay, so until next time, have a good day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up if you like this, and subscribe. Bye.